Marie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, and can you see me?
I can see you.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Rob, how are you? Ooh,
Hi, Trish. How are you?
good. Hi, Doug.
Very glad for you to be on. I'm just getting the live feed on Facebook ready, so I'll be back in a moment.
Great.
Trish, Rob was going to put up the slides. I did tell him that you were going to talk, maybe not necessarily with them.
Yeah, okay, great.
I'm not sure if Bobby's coming on tonight.
Trying to find an angle of the camera that isn't so right into that study light that I got behind me. Here, that's a little better.
I know I may have had to move around like 3 times. I just got my house back together. I can almost find a spot here.
Hello. How's everybody?
Okay, how are you?
I've been better.
Yeah, I didn't think you were going to be on tonight.
I don't want to miss this.
Okay. Same with Mark, who I see is there.
Yeah, Bobby gave it back to me again.
What?
Yeah, we got to stop meeting like that, Bob.
On the phone?
There we go. I think he just got it on Facebook, so we should be good.
Marie, how did you know that before it even loaded on my side?
I'm paying attention.
All right, let me just make sure it's up. Yep, we're good. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. We are going to officially call this meeting to order. This is the March regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Hoosick Falls, 6 p.m. Thank you all for being here. Couple quick housekeeping things first. We're going to start off with, as we normally do, the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you don't mind right now, please mute your microphone. You can also turn off your video if you want, and we will begin with the pledge. I'm going to stand in my spot. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, thank you very much. Quick review of online. Well, actually, we'll do our roll call first, Marie, if you don't mind.
Okay, Mayor Allen.
Sure.
Deputy Mayor Ryan.
Here.
Trustee Alter.
Hello.
Running late. Okay. Trustee Marpy.
Here.
trustee O'Malley,
Here.
trustee Pine,
Here.
and Attorney Gilchrist.
I am here. Good evening.
Thank you. All here.
All right, thank you. Quick reminder of online meetings, as I'm sure we are all very used to them. Please mute your audio when you are not speaking, and you're encouraged to use headphones, ideally headphones with a mic, so that there is no feedback loop created. And if two or more of you are watching the meeting in the same room, hats off to you, and make sure you're only using one audio source. I'm very excited to have not just Doug, but Trish and a lot of people here from the committee to talk about the Comprehensive Police Practices Review Committee and their report. So at this point, I will get to the presentation that you guys sent me and turn it over to you and mute myself so that you guys may take the lead.
Thank you, Bud. This is Doug Sauer, and just want to say on behalf of the committee, we're very pleased to be able to present this report. It's 23 pages. The committee met well over a dozen times. And we've all become well educated about the police department, the community, and the relationship between the police department and the community.
Doug, I'm sorry to interrupt. Chief, I think you're on a phone line right now. If there's any way you can mute that, it keeps showing up in the stream and we keep hearing some stuff there. Sorry about that. Sorry, Doug.
And where we're going in the future. I just want to, the committee members were Deputy Mayor Bob Ryan, Village Clerk Mayor Neal, who did a lot of work, Police Chief Bob Ash, Dave Borge, Jason Von Guinness, who I believe is on this in this meeting, and Trish Bluma. And like I said, we did a lot of work. We also and the report will tell you about our meetings and who we consulted with. I'm going to just quickly, because we wanted to do a brief overview, and I'm going to turn it over to Trish to really kind of give an overview of what we've done, our findings, our recommendations, and next steps. So Trish.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, everyone, for having us here, attending the meeting today and talking to you all about with the work that we've done. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Trish Bloomer. I own the Sandbar in Hoosick Falls. My husband and I have owned it for 10 years. I'm originally from Pittstown, New York. And I'm here to talk to you about what we've done as a committee over the last 6 months, working towards creating a plan to reform the Hoosick Falls Police Department. Very briefly, as I'm sure you all know, there have been many tragedies involving police officers and communities that they serve across the country over the last several years, in particular. And in response to this, the governor of New York issued an executive order requiring every jurisdiction that has a police force in New York State to basically take a look and a review at their policies, their procedures, their practices, with an eye toward developing and implementing a plan to reform the departments, to make the policies and practices better, in the hopes that this is going to lead to safer communities and more equitable policing standards statewide. Chief Ash, with the help of the mayor and many of the members of this committee or this village board that are here today, assembled a committee of people they thought would be well suited and willing and able to devote a significant amount of time and energy and a diversity of viewpoints to the important effort of developing a reform plan for the department. The committee's worked hard to educate itself about the organization of the police department, its procedures and policies manual, it's the status of the department in our community, and the ways in which we think that the department can be improved over time. We've also looked to try to determine the values of the community that we look for in a police department so that we can make sure that we're reinforcing the right principles. The goal being to have a more fair suspension of justice, to elevate principles of equal treatment and respect, to instill more trust within the community, and to create a stronger sense of safety and security in Hoosick Falls. What we're proposing is a reform plan that the village board is going to consider that we think is going to in turn lead to countless future improvements down the road and reforms. The village board has to adopt some version of a plan by April 1st. That's part of the mandate from coming down from the governor. And our committee believes that the plan that we're proposing here is a solid one, one that meets the mandate and one that that warrants the board's approval. But to be clear, the structure and the plan that we're proposing today is just the beginning of the work. 6 months is a good amount of time and allowed a lot of work, but there's a lot more involved if we want to look seriously at reform and improvement of our community. And our plan is designed to create a structure, an ongoing cycle of improvements and reforms that will be continuing and sustainable over time. So that was kind of the goal that we had in mind with the recommendations that we make. People can access the plan through a link on this website. So we encourage everybody to read it, review it, consider our suggestions, ask questions. We can be reached by email. Our email is in the report. You can also, I think I speak for everyone on the committee, if anyone is more comfortable speaking one-on-one with any of us and raising questions, we're happy to field those as well. And then, of course, anyone in the community will also have an opportunity, if not by email or by speaking with us directly, to raise issues in 2 weeks at the town meeting when the plan is up for public comment, the board meeting. So, and I'm sorry, village board meeting. But in the meantime, just a few more minutes on the approach that the committee took to developing this plan and highlight just a few of the key features. We started from the premise that the day-to-day work of a police department is complicated. It's challenging. It can be dangerous. It'll never be the same from day to day. It's hard to predict what needs and training. Things will come into play from one day to the next. We believe it's critical for an effective department to have overarching principles that guide the officer's conduct, principles that prioritize fairness and equality, and the importance of creating a safe community. We also think it's important to have people whose focus it is to oversee the implementation of those policies, to ensure that they're being upheld and given the priority that they deserve, and to even revisit the principles themselves to make sure that they're evolving with the times as well. And we think that a board of Hoosick Falls residents, members of our community, willing to offer their time to oversee the department and assist it in developing improved ways of ensuring our community safety and reinforcing these values is the best way to achieve sustainable improvement. I can't emphasize enough that this is just the beginning of the process for us. For example, we spent a lot of time going through hundreds and hundreds of pages of policies and procedures out of the Hoosick Falls manual. And although we've already debated line by line and section by section every single one of those policies and procedures and have a set of proposals for revisions to them, we haven't had enough time to complete that process. So that's going to be one of the first priorities of the Civilian Review and Reform Board that we're proposing be created, is to complete that process and put forth a set of cohesive revisions to the police procedures manual. Another task that we envision for our board is exploring new philosophies and techniques and areas of focus for police officer training, so that our officers are as well prepared as they possibly can be to handle the situations that they will undoubtedly be confronted with on a daily basis. Another role of the new board would be to look for ways that the department can develop its recruiting efforts. We think that enhancing the diversity of the department and looking for opportunities for more local representation on the police force are worthy initiatives to pursue. And we think it's also going to be worthy to explore new philosophies in community policing that might be particularly suitable for an area like Hoosick Falls, a smaller community with a more close-knit and geographically contained area. The approaches to community policing can foster stronger, more effective relationships between a police force and the citizens, a better sense of trust within a community. And so we think that those are all things that we would like our new board to explore. And finally, the board would provide a structure for receiving community feedback, for hearing and investigating community concerns and complaints, and for recommending appropriate courses of responsive action. What we want to create is the opportunity for a real and meaningful exchange within the community that will help the department identify areas where improvements can be made, that will help the department become educated in ways that they can more effectively serve the community. And that may even help the community understand some of the challenges facing the officers who work every day to protect us. I think we all have room to learn and evolve and improve. And the committee believes that a board of the type that we're proposing is critical to making that happen for our community. It will provide an effective sounding board and an important outlet for the community and a critical learning tool for our department. So with all of that said, we welcome everyone's review and consideration of our proposal. And we look forward to answering any questions you have over the next few weeks. So thank you so much for your time and attention to this. We think it's really important.
Thank you, Trish. The next slide here just presents some of the pieces of the function of the Civilian Review Board. That would be something if the board voted to accept the proposal as it is, would need to be appointed by the board. Our committee work would be done by presenting the plan. So Mayor, or anyone have any questions, comments, thoughts?
Well, first off, I want to thank all of you guys who are involved in this. Doug, Trish, Dave, Jason, Marie, Bobby, and Chief. This was, I can only imagine, a ton of work, a lot of thinking, and it's clear in my review of the report so far, a lot of good thought, good discussion, good analysis went into this. So we just deeply appreciate the work and the time and the effort that you've put in to this, and in a way supporting the community, supporting the police as we go through this process. So thank you guys very much. I do want to say that I'm going to put the report on the website right after this meeting is done, because I do not think it is up yet. So if it's possible, in the meantime, I may try to do it during the meeting, but we'll see how that goes. Let me open it up to the trustees. Do you have any questions or things you want to state or ask at this time?
Rob, this is Marie. Just one other thing. If anyone is looking for a hard copy, they can call me at the office, and I do have those there.
Yeah, we should have said that. Hearing no questions right now from the trustees, let me open it up to anybody who's on to ask the questions. So feel free to speak up right now, unmute yourself, and fire away.
Rob, this is Craig. I was gonna get in. I was unmuting myself. I just wanted to thank everybody myself. I've read through it at least once myself, and the amount of work that went in and the thought process looks really well. I just want to echo your statements, Rob. I will read it one more time in detail, but I do appreciate all the work and hard effort that went into it.
Thank you, Craig. Anyone else?
Just to know what Craig said.
All right, and then just as a reminder, we do have, as I mentioned previously, we have the proposed public hearing set for March 23rd at 6 p.m. So I assume that we'll have some more questions, and we'll have a time to hear from anyone who wants to speak, ask questions, offer comments, anything in regards to this. And again, the document will be online shortly, and it's available as a hard copy in the office. Any more questions? Anything from anyone?
I just like to reiterate what Trish had said, that any of us on the committee are available to answer any questions or have any discussions about the report or the recommendations.
Awesome. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Trish. Very well presented. I was so into what you were saying, Trish, I forgot to keep up with the slides. Sorry about that. But thank you guys for your effort, your time this evening, and your time doing this. It's very, very appreciated from all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let me zoom back through their presentation and get to the next part of the meeting. Chief, if you can, discuss a little bit more about the Unity House.
Well, I'm very excited about the Civilian Review Board. I think everyone on that committee did an outstanding job, and I'm excited to be a part of it. And I think what we've created is going to be a model for other communities our size when it comes to this type of plan. And we're also excited tonight about the Unity House. Arrangements have been finalized. Hard work from Deb and Dave Borge that put this together, along with myself and Sarah McGockney from Unity House. The location has been found at the Armory. I think I'm going to let Deb expand a little bit on that.
Get on mute, Deb.
Okay, there we
There
go.
we go.
So, okay, so they came by, the Unity House people came by, they met with Dave and Aaron. They showed them the space. It was good for them. It was gonna work. So it's on the second floor, I think. It's a small space. And we had everything they needed. They just need internet and a space. You guys, we talked about Unity House, right? So you remember what it's all about? Helping with issues that aren't really police issues or that police feel could be better handled by somebody else, social workers, or with domestic violence or things like that. So on Thursday, this coming Thursday at 9 a.m., Dave is going to meet with them and can't read my own handwriting, set up, and they're going to be set up and be available. They're going to be there 1 day per week to start and see how it goes. If they need to be here more or whatever. They're going to publish or put out what their services are and when they're there, what their emergency numbers are. They're going to start in about 2 weeks. Let's see what else. We want to send a letter out to Steventown, Petersburg, Pittstown, all the surrounding communities to let them know that it's here, that it's,
Hey, Deborah, Chief, we had a question online. Can you just give me a quick couple sentence summary on what the Unity House offers?
Sure. Deb, what I'll
Go
do
for
is Unity House is dedicated to enhancing the quality. I'm reading off their mission statement for people in poverty, adults with mental illness, victims of domestic violence, children with developmental delays in their families, and others whose needs can effectively be met by Unity House in their philosophy. They have direct service. It works toward, they say, social justice. It helps individuals in their strength and their needs and draw from their abilities and access community resources. They also will provide services through housing and support, domestic violence services, what they call a child's place. Volunteer program will be created, and a law project, which is free legal consultation and representation to victims of domestic violence and other individuals in need of legal help. So that's just a small amount of services they're going to provide. They're going to schedule 1 to 2 counselors or 2, I believe that their title are counselors here in the Armory. As Deb stated, they'll expand as they see fit, meaning that if it looks like they're going to need additional resources or additional hours, whether that's going to be expanded in the daytime or at night, those hours will be created as the program goes along. There'll be a 24-hour number for them to be reached. What we've set up is through the police department here is that we're going to work closely with them and help provide any services they need from the village or the town. We'll also be able to provide to them other services as the calls come in. They're going to stay in close contact with our department. We'll probably be meeting with them on a regular basis to find out what their needs are and how it's going to change. And if people would like, if you can go to their Facebook page, and I believe their website is http://unityhouse.org, they list a number of services that they would provide. But we're going to be going up on our Facebook. We're going to be sending it off to the town and the villages for your Facebook. As Deb indicated, we're going to be sending letters to some of the area communities here just so that they can post it for them. There's a lot of people, I refer to this on the other side of the mountain, meaning the Route 22 corridor. It's difficult for people to get to the city of Troy for these services or to just ask questions. What we're going to be able to provide is a place for them to be able to come to ask these questions or to seek out these services. It's a 24-hour operation as well. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, if someone is in need and the police are there, we'll be able to reach out to Unity House and they'll send a representative out to Hoosick Falls to help provide the services that those individuals need. We've already worked with Unity House for the past, since we've been talking about this. I think we reached out to them 5 or 6 times so far, and they've been great. They've been super. They've handled the call and taken care of the concerns of the residents that asked for it. So we're pretty excited about this, and we're excited that the Armory was able to provide this space for us.
So
Chief, I got the website online. I'm sharing it right now at www.unityhouseny.org. And question is when do you think this will be starting this 1 day week of
They're going to be here.
2 weeks, right?
They're Thursday morning. They're going to be here. Dave's going to set them all up with their key to access the building. They will be here starting Thursday. The hours will be posted shortly after that. After Sarah and I talk a little bit further about the day that they're going to be here. We are planning a open house probably within 2 weeks with the community. We're going to provide some refreshments and have an open house there. Try to get as many people there as possible to just sit and talk and get the feel of the organization. So as of Thursday, well, right now, actually, Unity House is ready to go. So if there's a problem, I mean, they'll come up as I speak right now if we call them.
It's great.
They're a very well-known and very well-respected organization. They're not like a fly-by-night, oh, let's just do this kind of thing.
No, these are
They know what they're
professionals
doing.
and very, very professional operation. And I'm excited to be able to join forces with them and to work with them. And, you know, part of our civilian review board is to provide services in outreach programs of this nature with the police department. So this is one of the services that the Civilian Review Board has been a part of as well. So.
All right.
The Armory is very happy, I mean, as a community organization and a sort of a community center to be able to offer the space to them and make that work.
It's great.
In line with our mission as well.
All right. Thank you guys for this update. This is, I think, a big step, and it's an important thing that we're going to be offering, and we're really grateful for the Armory for the space and for Unity House's involvement, of course, for what you guys are doing. So thank you. All right, quick announcements. Our election is in 1 week. It's on March 16th. It runs from noon to 9 p.m. at the Ann Borns Memorial Municipal Building. There is a mayor seat available for a 2-year term, 3 trustee seats available for a 2-year term, and 1 trustee seat available for a 1-year term. Based on the submitted petitions, the ballot will have 1 mayoral candidate, 3 trustee candidates seeking a 2-year term, and 0 candidates on the ballot seeking a 1-year term. This means that write-in votes will determine who is elected for the 1-year term trustee seat. I have been hearing from people about them being interested in running, and I'm just very, very glad to see that and to know that there's a lot of people who want to give their energy and time back to this community through the village board. So we as a village entity can't name names, and we don't want to run the risk of possibly showing support. So we can't do that, but just know that we're grateful for all of the names, all the people who have put themselves forward as potential candidates who are interested in getting this seat. And finally, the St. Patrick's Day Committee, as a reminder, on the 13th of March, we're doing the walk at noon through the village, socially distances. And if you haven't been so far, you can still get green lights and shamrocks out on your front porch, outside, wherever you want to celebrate all things Irish. Just a couple quick mayor updates. The U.S. Senate, rather I should say the Democrats in the U.S. Senate, but either way, has passed the American Rescue Plan. This includes money set aside for local government aid to offset COVID-19 expenses. It's a big deal for us, for the county, for the town, for any local governments. This is going to be direct funds that come to us. I want to say within, I think about 90 days, there's a time period where we'll get to the state, and then another time period where it will get to the local governments. So I was reading up on it. It's not official yet because it has to be voted on in the House and then signed by President Biden. But all things are pointing in this direction. It's very, very good news. I know that NICOM, who represents mayors and municipalities across the state, has been hugely in favor of this. I know I've seen Representative Delgado pushing for this for quite some time. I was pleased to see that it got passed. So that's very good news. And I'll likely have more update next week, next meeting on this, on more specifics of that. And additionally, we are working on local laws. We have two that we are still reviewing and revising to present soon. The first is the keeping of chickens in the village, which we had presented, gotten a lot of comments, and went back and have made some revisions to it. We're hoping to bring that out soon, as well as establishing rules and regulations for the removal of snow on sidewalks. This is something that has come up a lot, especially over the past winter, and we have been moving on this, and we hope to have a local law presented to you soon. I think that's it. And on a personal note, I still am at home helping out here. I have not taught at school since early February, which has just been surreal and tough, but that is how COVID works. My wife is slowly recovering, making some good progress, but it's still tough. So again, thank you for the support. And I know that there's a lot of us here in this meeting who have been personally touched by COVID, whether it's having it now, have having it recently. I've known people who've had it. So you just know our heart goes out to you, and reach out to friends and loved ones for help. It's been just awesome to see the network of people who have wanted to help. If you don't have that, reach out. All right, people to be heard section. Just as a reminder, when you are called on, please begin with your full name and street address, and you may share or speak what you would like to discuss. So at this point, if you would like to open up your line and introduce yourself, we'll turn it over to you.
Oh, Rob?
Yes.
Harold Stevens. Harold Stevens, 63 Wilder Avenue. Want to say
Harold.
thank you for working on that law to enhance our snow removal in the village.
Yep. Andy and I did a little bit of talking earlier this week, and things are moving. We know that the of the few things we could find, it was only those that set from Andy. When was that? When were those ordinances from?
Oh boy, it was the early part of the 20th century.
Yeah. So it's long overdue that we get something official on the books, and we're looking to definitely have it presented. I don't know if it will be in April, because we have the reorganizational meeting and a lot going on in April with the new board. But we want to make sure we have enough time to present it, get comments. If we have to go back to the drawing board and make changes, to do that, because as you guys know, it can be a couple meetings to get through this process, but we want to have things ironed out and ready to go in time for the next snow season.
Okay, well, thank you.
Next year.
Yes.
And I see where Andy's good at finding these old laws. He did that for Brunswick recently too. Okay, thank you for your work.
Yep. Anything else, Harold?
Not right now.
All right, thanks. Anyone else would like to speak?
Hello. Can you hear
Hello.
me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Josh Whalen. I live on 27 Saratoga Street. And
Hi, Josh.
I'm current president of the Town of Hoosick Youth Baseball Program and softball. And was brought up to my attention that there's been some issues going on down at the ball fields about dogs using our fields and people allowing their dogs to basically just use them as a playground. So I'm here on behalf of our program to voice our opinion and look for the continued support of our of the village. It is my understanding, now this is will be my second year, first year after the COVID with everything hitting. So my understanding is that we have a lease through the village and we are allowed to take measures that we feel fit for the safety and health of our participants, our kids, our coaches. So what I'm here to ask is for the support of the village to help us keep the dogs off of our fields. For the mere fact of, there's been a lot of dog poop. There's been issues with, there's been basically a track worn right down to the bare dirt, all the way around the outside of the infield, the foul lines along the outside of the, to the outfield fence. So what we're asking is, it becomes it's my responsibility to, like I said, create a safe and healthy place for the kids to play. And at this point, I don't think that's been happening. So with everything gearing up, hopefully, with everything planning on playing this year, we just need to find a way to make it work.
All right, thank you, Josh. I know you guys have our support. I think the reason it came up was just that there were some concern or questions about some signs that went up, but we're hugely in favor of what you guys do down there and the service you offer. I know how much has been missed in COVID season. Andy or Bobby, did you want to say anything else on this?
Yeah, from the police department's position down there, we're down there at least twice a week or twice a night. Whether we're in the shift fueling up or passing through. But I will make a note to the officers to pay close attention to that, especially during the daytime in the evening hours, for anybody that's on there, and remind them that they can't be on there. Are we talking about just what about times of? Are you, Josh, allowing people just to go down there to, like, the kids just to play during the daytime if they're on the field, just as long as they're without a dog, or is this at all times you don't want anyone on the field unless there's a game going on?
No, I think it's more of an animal thing, to be honest with you. I think, we're all for the kids playing, want to use the space for whatever they, play kickball. I don't care what they do on it, but the animals I don't think it's fair to the child who may be, playing a game and go to make a play and end up falling in dog poop and have dog poop all over them, or be running to make a play and maybe step in a hole and break an ankle or anything like that. I think the health and safety of our participants needs to come first and foremost before we allow any kind of dog to be on the field to, I think there's a lot of, we're all volunteers, we're fathers, we're mothers. We put our own money that we raise back into the fields. And I don't think it's fair to the program for, people to go down there and destroy the fields and, basically don't come down to help either donate their time or donate their money to make sure that they're fit for the kids to play on.
No,
So it
I
sounds like the
totally agree with you,
policy-
Josh.
It sounds like the policy is basically no animals on the field.
Yes, and the signs, basically what we did was in the beginning to maybe, rectify the situation was we took the fences off, the gates. So people started going down there with their own fences so their dogs could still be there. So then we decided to put, maybe just do some simple signs. A couple signs have come up missing. There's still dogs on the field. So, we're kind of at our wit's end. We don't know what else to do. And like I said, this is nothing, never been a personal thing against the village, anybody else in the village. It's just, it's hard-earned time and money. And it's about our youth. It's nothing about any one person or people or the village. So I just want to make that clear that we're not out to attack anyone. We're just looking for the support to benefit the youth of our town here.
No, that totally understand. Andy, did you have anything you want to add?
I do. I know Marie's been looking, mention of a lease earlier with the village. Certainly the village has been searching for a currently effective lease between the village and the whether it's Little League or the youth baseball. If you have a copy of a current lease, That's important for the village and for your organization to have. So we're trying to track that down. And upon review of that, we can get those issues addressed.
Andy, let me
trying to
just
cut down
expand a
too.
little. Andy, let me just expand a little bit on that too, because you just brought out an important point. The lease there as to the village, or I guess what we need to find out too is who's responsible, God forbid, that something happens down there where the police make an arrest. We have in the past for breaking into the concession stand and such. But if there's damage on the field, for legal proceedings, who would sign that complaint? Would it be the league officials, or would that have to go back to the village?
Well, again, we're going to have to look at the terms of the lease, because the lease properly drafted should address issues like that, Chief, and it should address issues like liability and insurance requirements. So we just want to make sure we get our hands on a currently effective lease, what the terms are, and whether everything's been addressed. So that's something for the parties to work on.
Could you make sure that we expand that not just to the fenced-in fields, but the other field that's being used by the football as well? That other part of that field that's not fenced in. I believe the village owns that as well. So we might want to, if you're rewriting anything, we just make sure it's a catch-all for all of them.
Sure.
I'm not 100% sure. I believe the football may have their own lease for that property. I'm not 100% sure, but I did hear that.
All right, we'll
Would
look
they
into
lease
that.
that from the village though?
I'm sorry?
Is that still owned by the village?
I would guess. I don't know.
Okay.
That's sure I'm not part of the football program.
Hey,
Okay.
Rob, hey, Rob. This is
Yeah.
Jim. Can you answer that?
Yeah, Jim.
Hey, when I did the football field, that is all village property.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have it. When I left years ago, it was under a lease, just like baseball.
Josh, do you have this is Bobby Ryan. Josh, do you have a copy of the lease? Do you know that the league has one on file somewhere, or?
I do not. I reached out to Ted. He thought he may have one. He was going to look. He hasn't found one. I actually called down to the village clerk's office last week, Monday or Tuesday, and they were going to look into it, but I haven't seen anything yet.
Right, and because Marie looked, and I don't think do you have, Marie, you couldn't find one either, correct?
Hi, Bobby. No, I'm sorry. I've been searching. I have not found the original. I did find some discussion about where there was going to be an addendum to it, which I believe I sent to you guys. It does look like something was set up back in 2014 for a 10-year lease, but so far, I have not been able to find it. And Josh, I apologize, I didn't get back to you because I've just been searching with no luck so far.
No, that's fine. It's understandable.
Andy, on the lease, regarding the lease, so who is responsible for liability issues? Is it the village, or Josh, do you guys have insurance that covers? I'm just curious about that.
We do. We have our own insurance that we renew every year for our building, for the buildings, for the fields.
Okay.
This is I was I'm learning too, so I believe it covers the players. I'm not sure how it works as far as somebody just on a Tuesday at 2:00 down there. I don't know how that works. I know all of our players are covered, and that's pretty much all I know. I mean, until I see the lease, I've asked someone to go over the lease with me to explain things, and just to see where we stand. But I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. I'm a father. I'm just here to do as much as I can. Like you, Bob. Like you, Bob.
Yeah, no, there you go.
We will keep digging and looking for it as well. I'll reach out to Brian, who's been going through and organizing some records as well, if Marie hasn't already. And yeah, we'll keep looking into it. But we definitely are supportive of what you guys do, and we know you're an integral part to giving our youth some organization and structure and great experiences. So thank you.
Well, I do just want to say that we're willing to sit down and talk and work with anybody, and make it best for everybody. So if this is not just like a one-way road, it's a two-way street, and for you guys to support us, we need to support you as well. So we're willing to sit down and talk and figure out the best thing for everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. Thanks for coming in.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
And would anyone else like to speak before we move on?
Hi, my name's Adrian Chamora. We actually just purchased 50 River Street back in October. And
Hi,
I
Adrian.
just wanted to express our happiness with the area and just how welcoming everyone's been. It's been absolutely amazing.
That is great to hear, Adrian. I really appreciate that, and we really appreciate you taking the time to get on here and say positive things about the community. That's not always how it is, so that's
No,
awesome.
you guys really, I mean, I came from Long Island back in 2009, and we've been living in Troy for a while. And just when we started house hunting, we kept looking at different areas and fell in love with everything over here, and we couldn't be happier. So
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Adrian. Glad to hear it.
We got here the same way, so I'm glad you're enjoying it as well.
my kids are absolutely loving that they can actually like go in the backyard and play. So it's been nice to feel security, and everyone's just, our neighbors are amazing. It's a huge difference and change from where we've been living. So just wanted to express how much we truly appreciate everything you all do, and you know, the whole town is just, you guys are awesome.
Great. Great. Thank you very much, Adrian. Anyone else like to speak? All right. Hearing none, we will progress on. I did have a question online. Barbara was asking if there's an animal control person. Yes, we do have an animal control person. If there's a need like that, start by reaching out to the police and explain to them what's going on, and they'll get in touch with animal control. All right, let's go through reports and minutes. Trustees, you guys have your reports. We'll start with the treasurer reports. Anything you guys want to highlight? Is Denise on? I don't think Denise is on this evening. Yeah, I didn't think she was able to make it tonight.
No, Denise is not on.
Okay. Trustees, unless there's anything anyone wants to highlight. Then I will be looking for a motion to approve the treasurer report.
I'll make that motion, Rob.
Thank you, Craig.
I'll second.
Thank you, Deb. All in favor, say aye or thumbs up. Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions. All right, carries. Great. And just one thing I did want to mention, because it talked about looking into a ban to cover the full addition of the UV addition to the wastewater treatment plant that we're going for the grants. But no, we have that grant money. It's a separate grant we're going for. Sorry to confuse those. One of the things as we're getting ready for budget season, which we'll be presenting the budget in April, is getting a full understanding and explanation of what we have in terms of all of our debt that we have. So that's something that we're going to be working on over the next week or two, and we'll be presenting to you guys soon. So I just want to highlight that. Next report is the police report. Chief, take it away.
I see that we've been taking up a lot of time tonight, so I'll try to make this quick. For the month of February, we handled 105 calls. That brings us up for the total of the year for 214. Our arrests this month were 15. That brings us a total up to 22. The arrests this month were for traffic, criminal possession of a controlled substance, grand larceny, an assault, and some other internal investigation, not internal investigation, but investigations that we've been conducting with the New York State Police. With that, if you look over the calls that we've had, I'm not going to go through them all. Again, we've had 15 domestics, and EMS calls are up at 20, and our vehicle and traffic complaints have risen quite a bit, up to 16. There's been reports of a lot of scams going on involving COVID. Being the tax season now, people are calling, trying to convince people that they can do their taxes for them. So again, I urge people that if they see something, hear something, receive a phone call of this nature, please give us a call. Don't try to interact with these individuals. That's what they're trying to get get you to do. So I also want to take the time just to thank the fire department this weekend. We had a call up at the Danforth. It could have turned into a serious situation, but it didn't. Once again, Hoosick Falls rose to the occasion and were able to take care of the situation quickly, safely, and they did a fantastic job up there. So I want to thank the fire department. There was a number of different fire departments there, as well as the ambulance service and the staff from Danforth.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions from the trustees? If not, I will take a motion to approve the police report.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Emily. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Carries. Thank you, Chief, very much.
You're welcome.
All right, code enforcement reports.
I'm here to answer if anybody has any questions. It was somewhat of a limited month because I've been one of the ones battling the COVID, so, but anybody has any questions?
Mark, do you foresee the courts opening up so we can start getting people into court that have previous violations?
Told the other day, April 1st, court's gonna be opening.
Oh,
That's good
okay.
news.
Good.
Yeah, that helps because it really, I mean, you know, the enforcement aspect of it can kick back into gear.
Any other questions for Mark? All right, Mark, thanks for joining us, by the way. Appreciate it. And I hope you're feeling better.
Thanks.
Looking for a motion to approve the code enforcement report.
Motion.
Thank you, Bobby.
Second.
Thank you, Craig. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Carries. Clerk report. Maria, anything you want to highlight?
No, we've just been doing our thing, busy there, getting ready for the next billing. Everybody's always excited about that. That'll be coming out the beginning of April. Denise has been working on the budget, and we've been getting a lot of copies of bills and past bills for people that are doing their taxes. So
10 property changes this month. That's good stuff.
lots of property changes. Yes.
Good stuff. Any questions from the trustees? If not, I'll take that motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Kevin. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions. All right, carries. Highway Department reports. Bobby, anything you want to highlight?
Just want to highlight that I want to thank Neil for providing a list of all his employees' vacation time and stressing to them that they need to take it before the end of the fiscal year. Because we know last year we had to, you know, pay out some vacations, and we said we we're gonna do it a one-time only, and Neil's been monitoring that, and I appreciate his being vigilant and keeping an eye on that and making those guys aware they need to take their time, use it or lose it, so.
Good. And also, I know that they were out, and Jim and Josh, and I think maybe even Kenny and Keith were out on a water main break recently.
Right, and that was on
Thank you all.
Liberty and Mechanic Street, right, there was a water main break. But that's it.
All
Bobby,
right.
has Neil talked at all about street sweeping since it's getting warmer out, and will we be leasing one again this year? Do you know?
I don't know. Neil, are you still on?
I don't see him on, and I'm still under the impression we're leasing because when we looked into buying, the cost for it was just so stupidly high.
Yeah, one thing I think I talked to Neil about last year was we have two street sweepers, both Pelican street sweepers, and one sort of runs and the other one doesn't run at all. I wonder, since they're just sitting there, whether we should either consider trading them in or put them out to bid and try to recoup some money from those two things.
Yeah, I agree. I'll reach out to Neil tomorrow about that, Kevin, and ask him, because I know they just sit down there in the yard, in the highway department yard, the fenced in area, and they haven't worked in several years. I think the last 2 or 3 years we've leased, if I'm not wrong. Is that correct, Rob?
Yes, I think we've leased every year I've been mayor.
Okay, because I know we had actually, I think we bought one. It was since I've been on the board, I know we bought one and it didn't last very long. It was used. And
I guess the only problem that comes with that, we lease it for 3 or 4 weeks, and then if, the roads get dirty again, anytime during the
Yep.
summer, fall, we don't have anything again until the following spring.
Yeah, the preference would be to have one, but the fiscal reality is different. But yeah, and I actually owe Neil a call because I'm late on getting back to him on 2 other things, so I'll talk to him as well tomorrow.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, I will take a motion to approve the highway department report.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Bobby. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Or abstentions? Carries. I guess we could approve the highway department, but this is just about the reports right now. Sewer report. Anything you guys want to highlight? I'm interested to see the gallons delivered because it was a noticeably lower amount this time compared to previous times. I think it was the lowest month. But I know the summer months is when it starts to go big again. I know in previous years it was also the same. February was like the slowest month. But otherwise things are going all right. So unless anyone has any questions, I'll take a motion to approve the sewer department report.
Motion.
Thank you. I think that was Kevin.
Yep. I'll second.
And second, Bobby. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Or abstentions? All right, carries. Thank you. And a water report. Emily, anything you want to highlight? I think Jim's still on too.
I haven't heard anything. So maybe Jim can elaborate if there's something he needs to discuss.
Oh, you got some crazy feedback there. I don't think there's anything new or out of the norm. Jim, anything new? I know we're looking at another carbon change out in the near future, but at this point we've had several, so it's kind of.
I'll elaborate on the carbon change out first, Rob.
Sure.
Carbon change out looks like the end of March, the first week of April.
Okay.
All right. And with the situation we had with the overflow, with the bed, whatever happened with the carbon tanks and the pumps.
Is anybody else having a hard time hearing Jim?
Yeah, it sounds like he's talking to a coffee machine.
I'm not sure what your connection is, but it sounds unique, we'll say.
I'm sorry, buddy. Can you hear me?
Yes, sort of. Hear like 4 different voices in one.
All right, I'm sorry. But anyways, carbon change out the end of March, beginning of April. But we came up with a new problem over the weekend. We had to buy a $2,000 sensor that controls one of the tanks to the PAL system. We had Skid B off for a day and a half. Now it's working. We did some other things, but I do have to purchase a new sensor for one of the RF tanks.
Is that for the PAL system that was just worked on?
Yes, sir.
Is this like a new sensor as in the previous one went bad, or this is a new need? That
No, this is a new sensor. The original one got put in 2009.
Okay. All right. I don't know if you could hear everything Jim said, but the carbon change out is looking to be the first week of April. And there's a sensor for the PAL system in the water filtration side, not related to the GAC. That is a wonderful $2,000 sensor, because what isn't that expensive in the water world, right, Jim?
Yeah, you got it, buddy.
All right. Any other questions for Jim or Emily? Hearing none, I will take a motion to approve the water report.
Motion.
Thank you, Craig.
Second.
Thank you, Kevin, for the second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Oppose or abstentions? All right, it carries.
I'm
Thank you,
opposed to
Jim.
himself.
What? Opposed? You're opposed to the voice modulation we're hearing. Jim, I hope you get to find this meeting online and play it back because it was surreal. I'm hearing like 4 different voices at once. And it's like something out of a strange sci-fi cartoon. Anyway, thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Rob.
Oh, now it's normal. Of course, now it's normal.
Thanks, buddy. I'll
Thanks,
talk to you
Jim.
guys. Yep, bye.
All right, minutes. Anything anyone wants to bring up about the minutes from the February meeting?
Now, I make the motion, Rob, we accept them as presented.
Thank you, Bobby.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Deb. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Trustee committee reports. I'll go in the order of who we see on the screen. Craig, anything?
No, Rob.
I know you'll be talking later about the Urswama plan that you reviewed, so thank you for that. Kevin? Bobby?
I have no,
Kevin. Okay, Kevin, did you have anything?
Just a few things. I was doing some checking on the water tank up on Rogers Avenue.
oh,
And I was talking to the county about it, and it's hard to find where that location is. And I went up to BRIS, the Bureau of Research, and was talking to her about it. And she said they're now assigning street numbers to those locations, anything like a tank or a cell tower. So they assigned some street numbers to the Rogers Avenue tank. Actually, it'll be the Ashley Drive tank. It'll be 2 Ashley Drive, and the Rensselaer tank will be 10 Rensselaer Street.
Okay.
And if we have any other locations, that's so they're easier to find coming in the future. So when maybe the police get a call or 911 gets a call for an emergency, they would have an address for those locations.
Oh, that's a good idea. I wonder if we have locations for some of our pump stations as well, water and sewer. And I don't know if they have addresses tied to them. We'll check into that.
Probably not, but I can check with her on that.
That'd be great. I know there's the on the sewer side, there's a pump station down on Lyman. I don't know.
Carrie out.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. All right, Kevin, what else you got?
Working on a project called the Walter A. Wood Project, where people have been donating money to have these benches built. They were made out of Walter A. Wood implement seats. There's 3 seats on each one, and they're made out of steel, so they'll last hopefully for years. And some people, they're actually sponsored by people or their families or businesses, and the benches will be donated to the village at various locations anywhere in the downtown area. A lot of the benches that are there currently are all breaking and the wood's rotting on several of them.
Mhm.
Some of the families that are making donations have requested they be put in Wood Park. So I'd like to, at some point before they probably will be ready sometime in the late spring. They're being manufactured right now by a local couple who live on Church Street, but they should be ready by late spring, and would like to, at some point, donate those to the village.
Awesome. Awesome. Anything else, Kevin?
Super cool, Kevin.
Yeah.
No, that's
Emily.
Urswama's been pretty quiet. We will have a meeting coming up soon. I haven't heard anything else. So
I heard
that's
something.
that.
All right. Great. Thank you, Emily. And Deb.
Hoosick Rising is been quiet because of COVID, but we're planning on doing some boxes, flower boxes along the shop bridge, which is going to look really nice. People coming into town that way, or now that we have shops down there, people will see it.
Great.
Or what else? And the armory is moving forward. We've got almost a full board now. Really working on how to set up our mission statement and all that stuff to really be a community center, a place for the community. So that's happening. And I think there was one other thing, but I can't remember. So.
All right. Well, if you think of it, tell us. Deb, thank you. And
will.
for all trustees, with the organizational meeting coming up in April, and of course with our new trustee that we'll have on, I am going to be talking to you guys soon about committees. And I know in the past I had a couple ideas on a couple committees I wanted to add or modify. So look for some emails on that in the next week or two.
Oh, I know what it was. I remember.
Yeah. Deb.
Came back. I'm not sure if it's, I'm on both boards, so I'm not sure if it's the Armory or Hoosick Rising, but we're gonna organize a spring cleanup day, like we have, like KC3 used to do, like the
Yeah.
village did before then. It'll be sometime, whatever the weekend, Saturday that falls nearest to Earth Day.
Okay.
So any kind of support that the village could throw our way, mostly elbow grease.
Yep. Reach out to Neil to find out what has been done in the past, and he'll be able to, I think, help drive that conversation.
Okay.
'Cause we have done a lot of stuff, and it's a pretty typical approach that Neil and his crew have done in the past, and it's worked well.
Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you, Deb. All right,
Rob,
old business. Yeah, Bob.
Rob, I'm sorry. I just thinking about the election now. With the write-in, my question is, maybe Kevin, you can answer this as well. Does the name of, I know we have individuals who are interested, like you stated, and does the name have to be exactly how their name is when they write it in a blank spot, Kevin, or how does that work?
Andy, Kevin, Marie, anyone want to comment on that? That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going by election law, it has to be underneath the person's name that or the office that they're trying to get. If it's not in the proper column, it really doesn't count. But it depends on how technical the village wants to be on. I guess if it was a close race, I guess you'd have to look and see whether, technically speaking, that those names are written in the right spots.
Okay. I just want to make sure in case anybody's asking or anybody's interested, we know that they're not getting, somebody just put their first and last name without you spelling it properly or whatever. I just didn't know if it had to be spelled exactly. Just curious about that.
You mean
No,
like putting in a middle initial or leaving it out?
No, just if it's spelled improper, if their name is misspelled, that's all I was worried about, Deb, I'm just.
Yeah, it's all based on intent. If the intent's there and it's spelled wrong, it would still count.
Okay.
By the way, I think there's three or four people that have expressed interest in running.
Yeah, I've heard 4 names that just from what I've heard. So good stuff. Very good stuff.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. So I have 2 items for old business. Both of them I'm just content to table them. I just want to keep them on here. The first is the transfer station. We haven't obviously met in the past 2 weeks because everything's so crazy. So I'm looking for motion to table our discussion regarding the transfer station price changes.
Motion.
Thank you, Bobby. Need a second?
Second.
Everybody for the second. I'll let Marie choose that. Any discussion on that? In that case, aye for tabling it.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Carries. And also, we had talked last meeting. I have not heard or gotten any specifics yet from the fire department about what they're going to do, but I did want to make sure this stays in the business, old business, so that it stays on our radar. plan is still for them to attach the radio antenna to the Rensselaer Street water tower. We just need the details from them to do that so we can approve it. I don't think Jim is still on, but I'm gonna just double check and get them to touch base with Jim. So unless you guys have any questions or comments on that.
Mayor, can I just interrupt quickly? Did you say that was the fire department?
I think it was the North Hoosick Fire Department who was interested.
No, no. What that has been with, they contacted me and withdrew that. I thought they were going to send that to you as well, based on the fact that a resident up the hill at a higher location is giving them approval to go to a site up there. So I thought that they reached out to you. I apologize if they told me to reach out to you, but I believed it was them that were supposed to reach out to you and tell you that has been taken care of.
All right, then we don't need to table it. We can just
Nope.
move on. All right,
You
thanks,
can move
Chief,
on
for that
from that.
update. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, we just have a few new items. Discussion regarding the contract for curbside solid waste collection and transportation with Urswama. Emily, as the Urswama rep for the board, or Craig, who I know had looked over the proposal. Did you guys have anything you wanted to offer on that?
So Rob, there was, the main thing was already brought up when I looked at it, and I think we should talk about it. And I think it was brought up by Matt Curley, is would we consider, if we're sending this out for bid, would we consider changing days of the week? Right now, the way the bid is written, it says Thursday and Friday. So.
Do we have an idea that people would prefer different days? And I don't mean like the residents here will adjust especially if it means we could get a better bid.
Well, I think the thought was these companies try to run 6 days a week, 5 days a week. And if they have an opening on Mondays and Tuesdays, you might get more bids. I would prefer not to get into the discussion of, is there a prime day for garbage pickup in the world? Not for me, but I don't know. People have opinions on lots of things. So we would have to, we want to know whether, we want to do that or not. The way the proposal is going out now, it says Thursday and Friday in it. So yeah, we're saying we're not going to consider it the way I think the way it would go out right now. My other comments were, pretty minor. In section C, it talks about, covering the cost of residential containers. It's kind of a weird thing since we already all have them, unless somebody's going to make us throw them out and get new ones if we switch contractors. I just didn't know what would happen there. If they use the old ones, I don't really care about it. But and then the last thing is really, are we limited to haulers that are contracted with Urswama? So I guess, normally when you send out a bid, it's an open bid to anybody, but this really, I don't know whether it's actually an open bid because we're with just Urswama. And so whether we have to send these out to haulers or whether they get sent out by Urswama, I guess.
Craig, is this just for village garbage pickup? Is this for the transfer station too?
I did not say anything about the transfer station in there.
Yeah, that's my impression as well. Andy, do you have any thoughts on that question?
I kind of echo Craig's question when I read through this, whether the bid does indicate that the village is a member of Urswama, but it wasn't clear to me whether this is a bid that's being sent out through Urswama or whether this is a bid being posted solely on behalf of the village. And if it's solely on behalf of the village, I really didn't understand Urswama's kind of involvement or oversight. So that was the only question I really had here. Is it does indicate that the bids are going to be posted and received at the village hall, but that's not determinative of who's actually the entity conducting the bidding. Craig, did you? have a
I'm under the
similar-
impression Urswama is the one who handles the bidding. Marie, I don't recall ever doing it on our own, correct?
No, not since I can remember, no.
Yeah. So I mean, so the email from Matt Curley in the thread of emails says something. I've written the new specs for the village with time getting tight and quickly laid out time schedule, but he said something in there about that they would send out the bid requests. Is what I'm looking.
Yeah, Craig, I do see that, but it was kind of confusing to me saying that we're getting close on time to get you out to bid for your next hauling contract. Is this?
Well, the
a
bid
village
schedule-
contract? Is it a Erkswama contract? It just wasn't really clear to me.
I think it's an Urswama contract, but it goes by our schedule, fiscal year.
Okay.
I always thought,
what was that, Kevin?
I always thought that they bid all their garbage contracts at the same time so they would get a better price, bidding all the member districts rather than to bid just one town at a time.
Emily, did you have anything from your conversations with Matt?
No, all the towns that also use their Schwama, they have different dates for theirs. I'm pretty sure Matt sends it out to bid for us. And then we basically pick the best bid that works for the village.
So then that
Yeah.
addresses my question of who it only gets sent out with haulers that are working with that answers that question.
Not necessarily working with Urswama. I don't think so. I think he sends it out, like they send it out. He was explaining to me Nassau, because Nassau sent theirs out for bid. So yeah, I don't think it matters who it is. They're not necessarily a member of Urswama.
Right. But they do business. They know how to do business with them. Like we don't have to make sure they're knowing how to haul our trash away. Urswama takes care of all that, I think. So that's a good thing.
Right.
And in terms of the Thursday, Friday, my preference would be whichever. It doesn't have to be Thursday, Friday. I know it would probably cause an uproar if it changed, but if the change also means it costs less for the village, I think that would be worth it. The wording in this contract starts with "to the extent practicable." Existing collection days for solid waste and recyclables should be maintained. That is collection on Thursday and Friday. I feel like, Andy, that's kind of gives you enough wiggle room to say, if it works better Monday, Tuesday, then so be it.
Yeah, with that language, if a bidder wanted to come in and say, I can meet Thursday, Friday, or alternatively, I can do another day, I suppose that'd be up to the village and Erkswama to review that and see what's best for the village. You put in that language to the extent practicable, it does give a little leeway. It's not limited to just Thursday, Friday.
Yeah. All right. So I guess hearing all those questions and comments, I think we could be in a situation right now to approve this. The mayor authorizing the contract. Is that how it would be, Andy?
What
Or authorizing the bid. To be
Right, what it would look like is simply approve the proposed bid documents and request Erkswama to move forward and complete the bidding process.
So, trustees, if you are feeling comfortable with this, and I am, we could move forward with that motion as Andy described.
So we're taking out the Thursday and Friday?
Well, it's written there as Thursday, Friday, but it has some language which says if it needs to change, it can change. So I don't think it's a specific need because the language in there was that page 3, section I, third paragraph. It starts with "to the extent practicable."
Okay.
So I think the preference would be to stick to it if we can, but if we find a better provider needs to switch days, so be it. My mind.
Right, just so the trustees are aware, what that section says, and Rob did say, to the extent practicable, existing collection days for solid waste and recyclables should be maintained. That is collection on Thursday and Friday of each and every week. In the event, however, that a route would be more efficient by changing collection days, the same will be permitted provided a detailed map of the proposed route changes is provided to the village with the bid. So the contractor can come up with a different schedule and propose that. This does indicate the current ones are Thursday and Friday. You'd like to maintain that, but you'd be open to consider other schedules or routes.
Awesome. All right. Trustees, do you want to move forward on this? If so, I will take the motion to, would be for approving the bid specs?
Yes, to approve the content of the bid specs and request Turk Swama to proceed with the bid process.
I'll make that motion, Rob.
All right, thank you, Craig.
I'll second that.
Second, Deb, thank you. Any further discussion on this? Hearing none, let's just do a quick roll call vote so we can make sure everyone's accounted for. Marie, please. Oh, you got to unmute yourself. And I'm an I. I'll just say that now. I'm in favor.
Trustee O'Malley,
Yes.
Marpy. Trustee Alter,
Yes,
and I've got yes on Mayor Allen, Deputy Mayor Ryan,
Yes.
and Trustee Pine.
Yes.
Did you hear Emily's? I didn't hear Emily's.
I'm here and I'm a yes. Sorry, I couldn't get to the button quick enough.
All good. All right, thank you. Passes, so that moves forward. That's fantastic. Thank you. The next item under new business is a resolution extending the intermunicipal agreement between the Village of Hoosick Falls and the Town of Hoosick concerning the assessor duties. Let me share this right now. I think this is it. Do you guys see that now?
Yes.
All right. I think there's a way to zoom in. That's all right. So this is a resolution extending the term of intermunicipal agreement between Village of Hoosick Falls and Town of Hoosick concerning assessor duties. This is basically extending what we did for the first time back as a local law in 2019. Andy, do you want to summarize anything on this?
This is just a reminder that with the village no longer being an independent assessing unit, the town assessor, Tony, does allocate certain hours per week to address village resident concerns or questions. And the village does pick up a part of the cost for that. That was done through an intermunicipal agreement, the term of which ran through the end of the town's fiscal year 2020. And this would simply extend on the same terms and conditions through the end of the town fiscal year 2021.
Thank you, Andy. I'll just go to the now therefore be resolved portion by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Hoosick Falls in regular session duly convened as follows. 1, the Board of Trustees hereby approves the extension of the term for the Village of Hoosick Falls Town of Hoosick intermunicipal agreement as described here and above through the end of the Town of Hoosick 2021 fiscal year upon the same terms and conditions as set forth therein without amendment, and further that such extended term shall be effective upon adoption of a resolution by the Town Board of the Town of Hoosick extending such intermunicipal agreement through the town 2021 fiscal year. I need someone to offer the resolution and a second.
I'll offer that resolution.
Thank you, Deb. I need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Emily. Any further discussion on this? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote.
Trustee Pine,
Yes.
O'Malley,
Yes.
Trustee Alter, Trustee
Yes,
Mayor Allen,
Yes?
Mayor Ryan.
I'm going to abstain because I am related to the assessor.
Okay,
Emily, I didn't hear yours again.
I'm a yes.
All right,
she was
sorry.
second.
I think things happen at the same time I couldn't hear, but anyway, we're good. Passes
Yeah.
501, so thank you. We go back to the last item. So we had a water bill adjustment request put forward from the office as we've been over 1,000 times. There's a lot of things we cannot legally adjust according to our local law, but one of the things we can do is remove the penalty. We've assigned a penalty for not having a water meter installed. This was something that happened years prior, and there were a few people who are getting hit each bill with what was it, $1,000, $750, $1,200. It's a pretty hefty fee. But this one was verified that the water meter is there, thus the penalty should be removed. Trustees, any other questions on that for Marie? I'm just trying to bring that up myself, that water bill. There it is. So I would then need a motion to adjust the water bill for 12 Seward Street as requested by the office to remove the penalty for not having a water meter.
Rob, I just had a question. On the water bill, it says it was approved in April, the adjustment was approved in April of 2021.
I think that is a adjustment needs to be approved in April 2021 meeting. Note. I am not certain because that has not happened yet.
I think she,
Go ahead, Marie.
I think she was just confused on the month that the adjustment was going in this month, not April. For this meeting. She was just confused on which board meeting it was going on.
So had we already discussed this adjustment previously?
No,
Yeah.
this is a new one.
This is new one.
Any other questions on this one? I feel like looking over it, I explained it a little bit wrong. This is not a penalty. It was Marie, is this one where if we can't read the water meter, it comes back with a generic usage number, but that was not the case? No, that's not this one.
No, this one was, it was sort of a complicated one, but he didn't have the water meter. I don't know if Jim is still on water meter, but then he had it. It wasn't quite adjusted just quite right. So we put the penalty on the last bill, but it was actually in when they read, so we had to remove it.
Okay. Trustees, if you, I mean, we could just authorize it now, or we could get some more information from Denise if you're not comfortable. What are your thoughts, trustees?
I'm a little confused, Rob. I mean, I think I get why we're doing what we're saying, but the markup shows us adjusting usage.
That's because it was, at the time that they did the bill, it was a reading that we had to put a tentative reading in. So it was based on previous usage.
Oh, so I was wrong. This is not a water meter not being installed penalty. This was a previous usage was added.
Correct.
My apologies. I mean to start that confusion. I've seen so many of these that are all kind of linking together in my brain, apparently.
So it's because the meter, that the reading didn't take cold properly? Is that why it happened?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was, that it was not reading correctly. I don't want to say it was reading backwards or something to that effect.
So I think what we need to do, I'll propose, is that we should have better documentation than this if we're going to approve it, because the only documentation that we have right now in front of us is a markup that looks like we're doing the thing that our local law says we can't do.
Yeah, that's fine. I can get some details from Denise and from Jim to verify it. It looks like there's a generic usage put on and then an actual reading was done, and that changed the various numbers. But yeah, we can certainly table this and get some more information if that's what you guys want to do. Does that sound all right?
For me, Rob, I think I understand what we're saying, but there's nothing that says that except what we just said out loud, and I think
Sure.
there's something more concrete.
Trustees, any other thoughts?
I agree with Craig. It's definitely confusing looking at the document we have in front of us.
Okay, and that's my bad because not only did I introduce it wrong, but I just didn't have quite enough from the office. So we'll get that fixed. In that case, Craig, do you want to offer, or Bobby, the motion to table this?
Yeah, I'll make the motion. We table it until the April meeting.
Thank you, Bobby.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Craig. Any further discussion from the trustees? All right, hearing none. All in favor of tabling? Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, hearing none. That is it. Motion has been tabled. Trustees, do you have any other business to bring up?
No, Rob, I wonder if sometime in May or June, we can get an update from the engineering firm on the Woodsbrook project. We'll have some new trustees by that time. I know Deb isn't aware of what's happening with that. And
Sure.
it'd be nice to hear what action is happening or if anything's happening and what the plans are.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that. Marie, can you make note of that?
Thank you, Kevin.
We'll put it for the next meeting as a possibility, but more likely, probably the May meeting will be better because the April meeting is already going to be jam-packed. I saw that Marie saying, no, not the April meeting, the May meeting.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
No, not out loud, but I can see you, so I could read. Thank you, Kevin. Anything else, trustees? If not, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Rob, if I could, just before you
Oh.
adjourn, just reiterating that you do have the special meeting on March 23rd and the public
Yes.
hearing for 23rd for the police review report that was discussed earlier. So just that reminder.
And I'll be putting that document online right after this meeting.
Excellent.
Great.
I'll make that motion, Rob.
All right, before you do that, I just got a quick question from someone listening, and will there be discussions about the request for funds from the rescue squad? That's something that we'll be working into the budget. So that will be coming up next meeting when we talk budget stuff. Just got a question on that. Craig, are you making the motion to adjourn?
I am.
Thank you, Craig. Need a second?
Second.
Thank you, Emily. Further discussion? It was almost a 90-minute meeting. I'm blaming Andy for the 91st minute. I'm totally just kidding. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? We are adjourned until March 23rd. Thank you guys very much. Election day next week. Don't forget to vote.
All right, and we also have to close the meeting at 9 o'clock, Rob,
Oh, you're talking about on
election night.
Election night.
election night.
You have
Yes,
to
we'll have our quick brief meeting. We'll talk about if we're going to do that virtually. I think we'll do it virtually. I can be over at the office, but I think the rest of us can hop on virtually at 9 o'clock to officially do the meeting. But we'll talk more as that time comes, because that's part of our duties, is to have that quick meeting together to officially approve the voting turnout.
Okay.
All right. Thank you all.
Good night, Rob.
Good
Good
night,
night.
everybody. Thank you all.